Spencer, we are here today to talk about win totals. We have FPI now. And so, though we don't have Vegas win totals outside of, I think, what is it, the SEC East
Yeah,
got some early
something
season win
obscure.
totals.
Yeah.
Nobody else got them. It just means more over there. We can go through FPI and we can construct some win totals. So, we're going to talk about USC football today for the 2022 season. I went through FPI, I broke down their schedule based on FPI's, ESPN's performance index. USC would be favored with numbers right now, favored in 9 of their 12 games during the 22 season. They'd be slight underdogs on the road against UCLA, and then they'd be about a touchdown underdog against Utah and against Notre Dame. So that works out based on the projected spreads. And if you want to read more about them, you can go to SaturdayOutWest.com. I'll have something for them. It works out to about 7.8 wins. So let's set a win total at 8.
Perfect.
I kind of think when Vegas comes out, the win total is going to be 8.5 or 9.
I agree.
But let's stick with 8 for USC, just based off of FPI. Would you go over 8? Would you go under 8?
I would, man, 8 might be right. I think, like you said, the Vegas win total is probably going to be 8.5 or 9. And at that number, I would go under.
Yeah.
And I guess if I had to pick a side on 8, I would still go under, just for the reason of, like, at Utah, at UCLA, against Notre Dame, like, those 3 could all be losses, right? Those are all, I think USC is in danger of losing all 3 of those games in this first year under Lincoln Riley. And then you've got another 4 or 5 games that are pretty tough, right? Like, you've got Washington State. They're at home, but it's the week before you play Utah. I think that's a trap game for USC. Oregon State's going to be better this season. Fresno gives Pac-12 teams trouble a lot. I mean, USC should win that game, but we'll see. They got to go to Stanford early in the year. And, Lincoln Riley teams at Oklahoma a lot of times had one kind of random slip-up game, whether it was Kansas State or Iowa State, just teams that Oklahoma was way more talented than, right? And that will be the case in almost every game that USC plays this year, except for maybe, against Notre Dame and maybe Utah. But there's just I think there's gonna be some chances for USC to drop at least one unexpected game. And yeah, I think 7-5 is probably where I would peg it at, maybe 8-4.
Yeah, I think to me, like, most likely scenario is they go 1-2 against the trio of Utah, UCLA, and Notre Dame. Obviously, you could potentially go 0-3 in those games. Obviously, they could maybe go 2-1 if they're better than people expect. You talk about, like, the random game that Lincoln Riley teams would drop at Oklahoma, and it was he went 1-2 against Chris Kleiman at Kansas State. It was usually like the culture team that didn't have the stars, but, like, just played well.
Yeah, middle of the year. Yeah.
And I kind of think that a road game against Oregon State, after they get out of the non-conference, they get out of the Fresno State game, then they go on the road to Corvallis to play Oregon State. I think Oregon State is going to be a little bit better than what FPI predicts they'll be. I think they'll be a little bit better than what people are expecting. I really like Jonathan Smith as a coach. I think that's a potential trap game for them. But I mean, they get Arizona State at home, they get Washington State at home, California, Colorado at home. Neither of those are going to be tough. They get Arizona on the road, Stanford on the road. I could see them winning 9 games. Like, I might take the over at 8.
I think 9 is the ceiling. I would predict 8-4. I think if I had to make a guess, and they could get to 9, right? Like, now, one tricky thing about the UCLA game is it is the penultimate week of the season before they go to Notre Dame, right? Like,
Yep.
that's the problem area on USC schedule.
They play Notre Dame at home. They play Notre Dame at home.
They do, and UCLA is basically a home game, right?
Yeah, it's not a road game. Like,
right.
It's
a road game, but you're not traveling across the country. So,
right, yeah.
But still, a look-ahead spot potentially there, depending on what kind of a year UCLA has. Who I mean, we think they're going to be pretty good, but who knows? Yeah, I would guess 8-4 would be a solid first year under Lincoln Riley. Caleb Williams' first full season as a starter, and then you try to build something special in 2023. I think that should be the goal.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think 8-4 would be a disappointment. It would be, there are a couple of things working in USC's favor. Lincoln Riley's never lost more than 2 games as a head coach. And
it's true.
yes, there's a lot of context that needs to be provided with that based
Never
on
played Notre Dame.
never played Notre Dame, the kind of program that he took over at Oklahoma. He didn't really play a college football playoff caliber team in the regular season at Oklahoma, except for maybe Ohio State one time.
His first year, one of his first year as a head coach, they won at Columbus.
Yeah, they played Ohio State.
Yeah.
But, they got Utah on the schedule, and they got to go to Utah. It's going to be a very tough game. The thing that I think is working in their favor with the UCLA game is UCLA put 60 on them last season, and it was a historic kind of loss in that rivalry. I think, if you go off of FPI, UCLA's projected win total is 8.7, which would be the second best in the Pac-12. So a lot of people like UCLA. I like UCLA too. I think USC is going to have a little something for that game. And, as we previously discussed, it's not like it's going to be, walking into Death Valley playing them at the Rose Bowl. So I think, 8-4, I think is probably like the more realistic, kind of around 8, I think is the most realistic for them. But, if you're talking ceiling, like I can see them winning 10 games.
I think that would be tough.
A lot of stuff would have to break right.
I think 10 is more likely than 6, but yeah, if you're talking about 10 wins, you're factoring in losses against Utah and Notre Dame, and then you're winning every other game on your schedule, which is possible. Yeah. USC is probably going to be favored in every other game other than, UCLA, we'll see. But I don't know, man. Like, Lincoln Riley is one of the worst coaches against the spread in all of college football over the last couple of years. And we'll see if a change of scenery at USC can change some of that. But yeah, my recommendation, just to kind of wrap things up here, would be, if you see the Vegas win total come in at 8.5 or 9, I think maybe a slight value to the under. But if it's at 8, I'm probably staying away here.
Sorry, just one last thought before we close this. I think there is some value in momentum. And if you look at USC's schedule, UCLA and Notre Dame in the last 2 weeks, if they're in a spot where heading into those last 2 games, they've only got 1 loss, maybe 2 losses, like that is a magical season brewing for them, given what happened last year. And momentum is a hell of a drug.